Hello and welcome to our presentation. My name is Young Ashley and we are Group 11 consisting of 10 members. Our presentation topic will be about Lowland Dipterocarp forests of Malaysia and their ecosystem as well as their ecology. Now before we start, what exactly is Lowland Dipterocarp forests? Well, it's actually a tropical forest found predominantly in Southeast Asia. It makes up roughly 57% of the emergent layer of the lowland forest in Malaysia. The name itself originates from the forest being dominated by trees from the Dipterocarpaceae family. Not all tropical rainforests are lowland Dipterocarp forests. Some tropical forests are generally characterized by having overall high tree diversity, but mainly have different dominant families in different regions.
Hi, I'm Limuni. I'm going to present the description of the ecology part. Lowland Dipterocarp forests are found below 300 meters above sea level. And as the name suggests, this forest is dominated by the Dipterocarpaceae family. It has a complex and multi-layer structure. Usually it has 5 major structures including the emergent, the canopy, the subcanopy, the understories, and also the forest floor. Lowland Dipterocarp forests also have a high richness of various tree species. For example, there are more than 800 species of plant that have been recorded in one of the forests in Malaysia. The density of tree species is also very high. Some studies suggest that there are more than 240 different species of plant within a single hectare of land. The following are some of the major species that can be found in lowland Dipterocarp forests. For example, the shorea or the Leucocoid moranti or the Dryobalanops that the Leucocoid capor. For the diversity of plants, it depends on the altitude. In the area below 150 meters, the lowland Dipterocarp may have a higher percentage of trees from the legume families and also the strangle-fig plant. When the altitude increases and is about 300 meters, the forest contains a larger timber tree and also a more diversity of plant than the lower altitude area. The animals in the lowland Dipterocarp forest are also very diverse, including a wide variety of the mammal, bird, reptiles, amphibians, insects, and also the invertebrate. Next, I'm going to talk about the ecological process. The ecological process in lowland Dipterocarp forest is dynamic and complex. The nutrient cycling is rapid due to a warm climate and also a high number of decomposers. The soil in the forest is acidic and has a low nutrient availability due to the washing away of nutrients by heavy rainfall. This causes the plant develop a shallow root so that they can absorb nutrients effectively from a shallow nutrient-rich layer. The pollination in this forest is also diverse. Many species were flowering synchronously at irregular intervals. There are 2 main ways for them to pollinate, including insect and also wind. In Malaysia, lowland Dipterocarp forest face a very serious forest degradation issue. The forest is facing a lot of threat that leads to the decline of the areas of forest. For example, deforestation for agriculture. A large area of lowland Dipterocarp forest has been removed for plant or rubber plantation. Besides that, unsustainable logging such as selective and illegal logging also reduce the biodiversity and degrades the forest structure. Last but not least, climate change with increasing frequency of drought also lead to a high tree mortality rate and also reduce the forest ecosystem resilience.
Hi, my name is Tan Jun Hong, and I will be talking about distributions of Dipterocarp forest in Malaysia. There are several factors that are affecting its distributions, which are tropical wet regime and soil. For tropical wet regime, there are areas that are distributed about 25 Celsius to 30 Celsius, and it's distributed at a high humidity levels area. The area that it is distributed are also has annual 2,000 millimeters rainfall evenly distributed throughout the year. And for the soil condition, it is acidic, which is at 5.5 pH level. The soil are also strongly weathered. They have a low activity clay content and low cation exchange capacity. The soil also have high level exchangeable aluminium. And the other factors that are affecting it are the land that are lower than 300 meters above sea level. There are also special classifications of lowland Dipterocarp forest in Malaysia, which is from Sabah and Sarawak. From Sabah, they are further categorized into subtypes based on dominant species due to their highly localized variations of the species. And for Sarawak, they are mixed between lowland and hill Dipterocarp forests due to challenges in distinguishing between 2 forest types based on altitudes.
My name is Liu Meijuan. Today I would like to talk about the physical parameter of the lowland Dipterocarp forest. The physical parameter of the lowland Dipterocarp forest consists of the temperature, rainfall, humidity, soil texture, tree height, pluviometry, slope, wind speed, and light intensity. The temperature in the forest is about 20 to 35 Celsius. The forest exhibits annual rainfall which exceeds 2,000 millimeters. The humidity in the forest is high, which means the moisture in the air is high. The soil texture in the lowland Dipterocarp forest consists of the sand, slate, and clay. The tree in the forest is tall, which is about 40 to 60 meters. The permanent tree in the forest is short, but regularly at the dry season. The slope in the Lowland Dipterocarp forest is moderate. The wind speed is high in emergent layer than in canopy and understory. The light intensity is low at the forest floor and is high at the upper canopy.
Good day everyone, I am Sharmila Rajendran. Today I will be presenting chemical properties of lowland Dipterocarp forest in Malaysia. The first chemical property is highly acidic soil. The pH of the soil is usually below 5.5. This high acidic pH of soils is due to leaching of basic cations and accumulation of organic matter from decomposing litter. The soil's cation exchange capacity, CEC, is generally low in highly acidic soils. Therefore, this will limit availability of essential nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, and potassium. And we know that potassium is very important for plant growth. As the availability of potassium is low in highly acidic soils, this will hinder plant growth in lowland Dipterocarp forests. CEC is important in nutrient cycling because it determines the soil's ability to retain essential cations for plant growth. Therefore, CEC tends to be higher if the pH of soil is slightly acidic. The second chemical property is carbon to nitrogen ratio. The carbon to nitrogen ratio in lowland Dipterocarp forest is high, exceeding 30 to 1. This reflects the substantial carbon content found in Dipterocarp leaf and other plant materials. The carbon to nitrogen ratio is higher due to slow decomposition rate of tropical soils, and this ratio can increase even higher in litter and organic matter layers. Another chemical property of lowland Dipterocarp forest in Malaysia is plant litter quality. Dipterocarp leaves and other plant materials typically contain high levels of lignin, which is a key factor in maintaining a high carbon to nitrogen ratio. So how can lignin influence the carbon to nitrogen ratio? This is because lignin is composed of carbon and nitrogen is present in lower concentration at plant cell wall. Therefore, microorganisms require a lower carbon to nitrogen ratio to decompose organic matter effectively. High carbon to nitrogen ratio in the litter layer can hinder the decomposition process and nutrient release.
Hi everyone, I'm Chen Shiwen. Today I would like to talk about the representative plant species of the lowland Dipterocarp forest. One of the most dominant species is the Soria reposola. It is a fast-growing timber tree that can reach the height of 45 to 60 meters and live for over 200 years. It is widely used in the wood industry. And next, Soria curtisi is another key species. It is a slow-growing tree that can grow out to 60 meters tall with a lifespan of 250 to 300 years. It produces very dense and heavy wood. And next, Triobalanops aromatica. It can grow over 65 meters tall and live for over 300 years. It is easily recognized for its tall, straight trunk and fragrant resin, known as camphor. The fourth species is the Hopea odorata. It can be lived around 100 to 150 years and grows along the riverside commonly. It is a medium to large tree with smooth bark and winged fruits. And the fifth species is the Licola spinosa. It's a camping palm that grows 2 to 3 meters in height and lives for 30 to 50 years. Commonly grows in the shaded and moist area. With its circular and fan-shaped leaves, it provides good habitats for the forest animals. And the last species, Calamus manus, is a large climbing rattan that stretches over 200 meters. It typically lives for 20 to 30 years and variable for its non-timber forest product.
Next, representative abundant species of lowland Dipterocarp forest. First, Pongo pygmies, which is also known as Bornean orangutans. They have a long coat of dark hair on the back and also a facial disc. Their only predator are humans. Second, Nasalis larvatus, long-nosed monkey. Their lifespan is at least 23 years. They have fur on the back, which is bright orange or reddish brown, while female has a smaller nose and male has a large nose that hangs under the mouth. Suscrofa, wild boar. Wild boar eat roots, young shoots, and also plantation crops. They are omnivore. Adult wild boar are gray, black, or reddish brown, while juveniles are brownish with horizontal stripes.
Hello everyone, my name is Li Jiayu and I will talk about the special organization of the lowland Dipterocarp forest. There are two stratifications for the lowland Dipterocarp forest, which are the vertical stratification and the horizontal stratification. In the vertical stratification, there are 4 layers: the emergent layer, canopy layer, understory layer, and ground layer. Firstly, for the emergent layer, there is the highest layer in the forest. The trees here are very tall about 40 to 70 meters. They grow close together and stand above all other trees. These trees help protect the forest by blocking strong sunlight and windy. Next is the canopy layer, which is made by the tops of trees. These trees are a bit shorter, around 25 to 40 meters tall. The canopy is not always the same. It has gaps and different heights, but it still covers much of the forest and gives shade to the lower layers.
My name is Chloe Kujiqing, and I'm going to talk about the other two layers of the vertical stratification. So under the canopy layer is the understory layer. This layer resists low light level, which is only about 1 to 5% of the total sunlight, and it maintains a high humidity and low temperature fluctuation. This layer also provides a habitat for a variety of species such as insects and reptiles. While for the ground layer of this forest, the light level is even lower, and it is moist and thermally stable. So it mainly consists of small-sized plants and mosses as well as the shade-loving plants. It is also an active site for the decomposers to break down the organic matter. The horizontal stratifications of this forest is typically patchy, and the structure is normally influenced by the canopy gaps and soil conditions. There are variations of plant community composition and niche differentiation due to the difference in light, moisture, and temperature. Hence, these stratifications enhances overall biodiversity and also improving the ecological functioning of the forest.
Hello, it is me again, young Ashley, here to talk to you about organism-organism interactions. Now, the type of organism I'm covering is primary producers. The primary producers in this forest is mainly Dipterocarps, like I covered before. It's a family of tall, hardwood tropical trees. They are a valuable component to the ecosystem because the Dipterocarps is the main primary producer of the Lowlands Dipterocarp forest. Another prominent tree featured in the Lowlands Dipterocarp forest is Borneo ironwood, although more commonly known as brilliant, which I have put a picture there in number 2. Other key species include the giant nyatho and canary. Now the straggler fig, which is number 5, you see that, is the ficus species. They are a vine plant that typically winds themselves around their host tree, eventually covering and killing it. The straggler fig is integral to the ecosystem as a primary producer, as they provide a consistent food to the herbivores and omnivores in the form of figs. However, rich biodiversity can also cause the Lowlands Dipterocarp forest to have a limited resource and can, as a result, in many plant species compete for the same resource. One of the most notable competition among primary producers is sunlight. In dense forests like this one, the canopy can significantly limit the light penetration to the forest floor. Many emergent trees can grow up to several meters tall in order to reach sunlight before the competition. For example, many other Dipterocarps can grow up to 80 meters tall. Underground, the plants also compete for water and nutrients in the soil. Roots of different plants can overlap, increasing their competition of these resources, particularly in nutrient-poor soil.
My name is Chin Yimin. I'm going to talk about the organism-organism interactions in the lowland Dipterocarp forest. Firstly, there are primary consumers which are in the second trophic level. There are herbivores who consume plants and act as pollinators because they help in seed dispersal. They eat fruits and disperse the seeds of the plants. The photos on the right show the primary consumers consume the plants and get 10% of energy from the plants. Examples of primary consumers are slow lories, Borneo pygmy elephant, and orangutans. Between the different trophic levels, there will also be competitions where organisms compete for food, water, shelter that is limited in supply. To reduce competition, organisms will undergo niche specialization, which means they play different roles although they live in the same habitat. In predation, an animal predator will hunt and consume its prey. This affects the population size of organisms, and this can prevent overpopulation and also prevent one species from dominating a place.
So that is all for our presentation. Thank you!